but they should also put their country first, as every single premier except Danielle Smith did.
Welcome to the Bandwagon Effect, where you see, hail, and welcome to today, where we have Justin Trudeau doing what he does best, which is doing a bunch of left versus right talking points, and a lot of what he is doing is bringing a certain kind of voice louder and louder and louder in Alberta, to where it is kind of actually it is trending right now, the Alberta voice on this, and we'll get into that, but that could be quite problematic, but I don't think it will. So I guess stay tuned to see my thoughts on that. But for now, what I wanted to look at is a quick video of Justin Trudeau trying to gang up. Perhaps gang up is the right word here, because he is basically saying it is Canada versus Danielle Smith. That is how he is acting, rather than the fact that it is Danielle Smith caring for Alberta. Albertans who are Canadian, but she's gonna put Alberta above the rest of Canada because she is the premier of Alberta, not premier of Canada. So of course she's going to put Albertans first. But this is what Trudeau likes to do, which is take that fact and use it against her, saying, "You're against Canadians." I would be against Canadians if you stopped me from doing everything I wanted to do. I would be against Canada in that sense, because Alberta could be making, or Canada could be making a lot of money by sending the oil to XYZ location, but turns out Liberals have decided to stop the pipeline. So yeah, when you guys put your agenda above Canadians' economy, Canadians' living, because there are a lot of jobs that are created through the pipeline, when you guys get rid of all those things, then I don't expect the Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith, to stand with Canadians or Canada, because that isn't her job. Now, let us dive into the video before I continue to talk your ear off here.
So yes, premiers should be advocating for their own industries, their own country, their own communities, but they should also put their country first, as every single premier except Danielle Smith did.
Welcome to the Bandwagon Effect, where you see everybody jumping onto the bandwagon. You say, "Oh, I don't want to be left out," which is the low thinker mentality going on with that idea, because very often that doesn't end up in a good place. And Danielle Smith is very smart for not jumping aboard, because they're driving us into the Liberal Party is driving Canada into division. That's all they're driving. Isn't it crazy? The dude who said diversity is our strength is now the dude who is actively dividing Canadians, actively dividing the country, dividing the dividing the partnership between countries. He is dividing everything, which is not exactly uncommon for Liberals, but you know, ha jokes. Anywho, I don't know why he thinks that a premier would put the entire country of Canada above the country that they are a premier of. Danielle Smith is the premier of Alberta, not the premier of Canada. Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada, and he's doing doing a very terrible job at that. Maybe he should worry about putting Canadians first rather than his agenda. But hey, maybe I'm just a stupid one here for telling him what he should be doing. But anywho,
I could point to any number of those premiers and point out lots of moments in which they have points of disagreement with me. From Doug Ford to Scott Moe to Tim Houston to even David Eby and Wab Kinew and others. There's all sorts of disagreements we're going to have. But when push comes to shove, every single one of them are Canadians first. And yes, they're going to look out for their communities, but they also know that looking...
Guys, all of these liberal-type leaders, they agree with me, but for some reason, this person over here doesn't agree with me. They're not Canadian! Bruh. Seriously? This is bandwagon effect en masse right here. I've got all of these people who don't like me, but they're agreeing with me. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. When an ally starts working with an enemy, that isn't good, necessarily, because right now we don't have a common enemy. We don't have a common enemy. We're having a relationship problem. We're not calling America an enemy country. We're not calling them that. So why is an ally in Canada, a Canadian, like all the other premiers, why are the allies of Canada siding with the enemy of Canada, the person who is currently dividing us, and dividing us, and dividing us, and sending us into economic non-existence? Why are the Canadian allies on the side of the enemy in Canada? That just seems a little bit problematic to me, but hey, what do I know? It's the bandwagon effect. Get on board, boys and girls, because we're going to somewhere you will probably not like, because that's how that bandwagon effect works. But, yeah, I don't know. Just a lot of problems, but I think you get the point. You get the point. He is doing this whole entire everyone agrees of this is high school, but this is schoolgirl behavior. This is schoolgirl behavior where you got the attractive girl group and then you're attacking the ugly girl kind of thing, you know? He's dividing Canadians. That's all he's doing. He's just dividing Canadians by saying, I have all these people who are with me. I'm the cool girl. You're not. You're all by yourself. You got no one beside you. You're against Canadians, you know, even though that's not your job because you're a premier of Alberta, not Canadians, or sorry, not Canada, but Canadians who are in Alberta. You're supposed to put Alberta above all because that is her job. That is her job. But hey, Trudeau surely wouldn't know about that, would he? You know, putting his job to where it's supposed to be. You know, putting Canada first. But he doesn't seem to like doing that very much. But so on the topic of Alberta, I was actually planning on titling this video as something different, something to the sort of, is Alberta gonna separate from Canada? That was the genuine title that I was thinking of, but after the next post I'm gonna show you, it changed my opinion on it. Because I don't think Danielle Smith is thinking of that, but I'll get to that after, because there's a voice crack. There are a lot of Albertans who are thinking of not being with the rest of Canada. And, you know, a lot of people might disagree with me in what I'm about to say, but I understand it. I'm not an Albertan. I'm not in Alberta. But I do understand it. You know, when you keep on telling a certain section of people that, hey, we don't like you, don't be surprised when that certain section of people just don't want to be with you anymore because you were being mean. You just didn't care, and they closed the pipeline, call them MAGA cult, call them yada 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 yada. They do all that name-calling stuff and then expect Alberta to be like, oh yeah, we're Canadians. No, they're Albertans. Sorry, they are Albertans. That is what they are. Alberta is in Canada, yes, but Albertans are not Canada. Albertans are in Alberta. They are Alberta. Can't have an Alberta without the Albertans, but the point is that, and I bring up these two people, but it's odd, there's an account that is specifically named Alberta, and they say, Canada, we want a divorce, signed Alberta. And then, right below that, has the major federal transfers Canada map showing here, where every country, every province, every liberal province, every single one is getting a lot of money. And sorry, by liberal, I mean like the eastern side of Canada, just the entire eastern side of Canada, you know? And it's like, Trudeau is straightly just trying to divide Canada, and he's doing so with money as well. Like, why every eastern? Why every eastern? The territories didn't get money, and the western side also didn't get money. Why are they left out? Like, they got zero, seriously, zero. Like, not even a pitiful dollar. Zero. Does that seem like Canada putting Canadians first by giving a portion of Canadians absolutely nothing in equalization payments? Really? Really? That seems like Canada being putting Canadians first? That really seems like that? Doesn't to me. But the point is that a lot of Albertans are wanting to not be part of Canada anymore, which is, I don't like that. As a person who is not part of Alberta, I'm gonna have to dog on Alberta here, jokingly, of course, because, man, I don't want them to do that. I already can't afford the fuel. Don't need to drive that any higher. Don't need to do that. I do not want that. I don't like that idea. We want the oil. But I tell you, Trudeau is going the wrong direction in putting Canadians first, because he doesn't do that. He wants the Danielle Smith to put Canada first, but for some reason Trudeau doesn't like doing that. Words for thee, not for me, is his whole entire motto. And I don't like it. And yet, every other premier is jumping on the bandwagon for some reason. It's almost like they don't actually care about Canadians, but they only care about their own agenda. Oh, wait. Maybe I'm saying too much. Now, there is a very... this is why Albertans on the Alberta trending tab, they seem to want to divide themselves from Canada, but I don't think that is going to actually happen. Thank goodness we can't afford that, because Danielle Smith has come out recently with her own kind of post, saying that she 100% agrees with Pierre. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole entire clip. It's a 3 minute and 15 thing. I'm going to only go about a minute, but this video will be down in the description, just like every other post, and you can go check it out yourself. But we're going to take a look at this, because it talks about what Pierre wants to do when he is Prime Minister, which I quite like what he has to say about this.
When I'm Prime Minister, we will repeal the anti-energy law C-69, we will rapidly approve LNG plants and any other private sector unsubsidized investments to expand our ability to sell our energy without going through the Americans, and I will unite our people. We see right now that not only have the Liberals weakened our economy, now they're resorting to dividing our people. Divide and conquer. Right when the President is threatening us with tariffs, what is the first thing the Liberal Party of Freeland and Carney think to do? Divide Canadians. Divide our provinces. We don't need to be divided. We need to be united. All provinces, all Canadians. Let's put Canada first.
I agree with Pierre. I like what he is saying. He is very correct on how the Liberals are just trying to divide us. They're just trying to divide us. That's all they're trying to do, and I'm glad that it appears that it is not working anymore, because a lot of people are waking up and smelling the coffee of how terrible the Liberal government is and how terrible the Liberal Party is, but that's all they're doing. They're just dividing. That is all they're doing. Rather than doing something that Trump wanted Canada to do, which is good, like securing the border, rather than doing that, the leadership in Canada decided to dig their heels in and go against a good thing. That doesn't make sense. They're just trying to divide Canada and America. Why are they trying to divide us when we, as Daniel says, we are in a relationship. We are together. Why are we trying to drive a wedge between us? I don't get it. And why is he trying to drive a wedge between Canada? That's all the Liberal government does. It's just divide, 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 and divide. They don't unite. They don't do that. They just divide. They give like 30 different kinds of identities and think we're all gonna come together. No, that's just gonna create more division, because that creates more uniqueness in people. Sorry, that's a tangent. But he is now going against Danielle Smith, talking about how she's not for Canada, and how she should be standing on the bandwagon of going against Trump, when that isn't smart for her province. Her job is looking out for Albertans, not the entire country of Canada. Why would we have a premier if her job is to look out for all of Canada? You mean to tell me we have a Prime Minister of Canada, and we have a Prime Minister of a province, Prime Minister of a province, like, why? What was the job of the Premier at that rate? Nothing? She's meant to put Alberta first. She is meant to. That is her job. And she is doing that by working with their main export, their trade, the thing that grows and makes their economy boom, which is oil, which is the pipelines, which is trade with that. She's standing with Albertans. I understand it completely. I'm happy that she's agreeing with Poilievre here, because if she's agreeing with Poilievre and Poilievre does become Prime Minister, then that is good, because then I don't think she would want to separate Alberta from Canada, because that would be a massive problem for Canada. That would be a gargantuan problem for all of Canada if Alberta did that, and I don't even think the eastern side of Canada even understands how deep that route goes, because they're all green energy nuts. They don't understand the real world. They just don't. They don't. That is simply all it is. Why aren't you putting all of Canada first? You know, Canada, the country that doesn't want you to sell your oil. You know, Canada, the country that stops your economic growth. You know, Canada, the country that keeps on throwing insults and all that at you. You know, why don't you stand with us? Mean girls. That is all the eastern side of Canada is. They're just a bunch of mean girls. That's all they are. They didn't grow up from high school. They're older, and yet they didn't grow up. Their mental aptitude is draining. But anywho, that's before I keep on talking, I think that is where I'm gonna leave it off. So tell me what you guys are thinking down below. But I hope to see you tomorrow. There might not be a video tomorrow. I don't know. I might record a video later today to edit and then post tomorrow, because I won't be doing that tomorrow. But I don't know. I'm a little bit confused still. So it is kind of up in the air, but either way, I'll be here back on Monday. So I hope to see you then. But until then, I hope that you have a good one.